Hello everybody, welcome to our Form 2 Geography class. I'm Miss Zheng. Now I'm going to use video to teach Unit 5.2. Before I go, I would like to have some introduction first. Now let's look at this flowchart. For 5.1, what we have learned before, remember? So we have learned about the definition of natural hazard and also types of natural hazard, and also the distribution of natural hazard, for example, the earthquake. Now, for type of natural hazard, we have three important types: geological, climatic, biological. Still remember your news cutting assignment? Most of you did it wrongly for question 1. You just answer typhoon or earthquake, but I want you to write down the types. That means this term: geological, climatic, and etc. Okay? And now for our textbook, it talks about three important natural hazards. It talks about landslide first. So it is related to our geological. And then the second thing, our textbook is talking about the typhoon, is related to climatic. And then the third thing is about earthquakes that we will learn. Is related to geological. And now let's look at landslide first. For the landslide, so it related to relief, right? So start from 5.2, we are going to talk about the relief of Hong Kong first. And then we will have some map reading related to relief. For example, we will learn about cross section, 橫切面. The second thing is vertical exaggeration, 垂直誇大率. The third thing we learn is gradient, 坡度. So this is the general introduction before we go to our 5.2. Now let's start 5.2 now. We are talking about relief of Hong Kong. Now let's look at this flowchart. Now let's look at the definition first. What is relief? Actually, relief refers to two things: height and shape. Now what is height? Height, 高度. For example, we have some land in different height. For example, we say there's a mountain, so the height is very great, okay? It is very, very high. And sometimes we have lowland. This is lowland. And then we say the height is very low. And how about the shape? The shape, different shape of the land. For example, sometimes we will have different mountain ranges. For example, 八仙嶺, okay? And sometimes we have one single mountain, or sometimes we will have some valley, 河谷, right? So we have different shape of the land here. Now this is the definition of relief, and then let's look at the description first. Now, how can we describe the relief of Hong Kong? So let's look at this. First of all, we have limited lowland for the land of Hong Kong. So where can we find this lowland? Mostly we find it in river valleys, 河谷. That means near the river we have some lowland besides, and also we will have narrow coastal plains. So along the coast we will have some narrow plains. And you should know that our largest lowland we find in Hong Kong is Yuen Long Plain. Now let's look at your textbook, page 13. So you can just look at this map here. You can see that Yuen Long Plain is here, right? And then we have some coastal here, coastal lowland, 沿岸嘅低地. Okay, so we have just a little bit, not too much here. And then also beside this one, you can have two sides of Victoria Harbour. So look at this map again. So this is Victoria Harbour here. and then you can have the coast here. So you have a very just a narrow coastal plain you can find along the Victoria Harbour, right? And then also in new towns. So in Hong Kong we have 9 new towns, and then for the new town mostly the land refer to the lowland. Now, beside the lowland, most of our land belongs to hilly relief. It is greater than 200 meters. And also, we have our coastline. We have long and irregular coastline. Irregular, that means 不規則. For our coastline, you can look at this. So look at this map again. So this is, you can see the coastline is irregular. 不規則, okay, not a straight line. Now, because of this irregular coastline, you can see many bays there, 海灣. So in between, you can see the bay here, right? And this is the bay along this irregular coastline, right? And also, in Hong Kong, we have many offshore islands. Offshore, that means 離岸, far away from our urban area. So, what island we have here? So you can see this one, for example, Lemma Island, 南丫島, and this is 長洲. Okay, so this is a very famous island we have, and also this is Lentil Island we have here. Okay, so all this is the description of relief of Hong Kong. And now the third thing we are going to look at is now we have some method to show relief on map. So there are 3 ways to show the relief. For example, we have coloring method. Now we use colors to show different relief. For example, we will have green color. Green color refers to the lowland. And also we have brown color. It refers to the highland. Okay, so actually you can just find page 11 on your textbook. So you can look at this. Now this is the map here. You can see that the brown color refers to the highland, and then the green color refers to the lowland. So you use different color to show the relief of Hong Kong, and this is called coloring. Now the second method we want to show the relief is using contouring. So we can use contour lines. This will be used to draw a contour map. So maybe I just showed you here. Now, for example, you have this, right? Now, this is the contour map, 等高線圖, and this is called contour line, 等高線. Now actually, what is contour lines here? Now, contour lines are used to join places with the same height. So, for example, this line refer to, for example, is referred to 20 meter high, and this is 40 meter high, right? And then this is 60 meter high, so it's in meter unit, right? And now for this line, so every point along this contour line, they have the same height. They all have 20 meter. So we use a line to join this point together, and then this is a contour line of 20 meter. Okay, and then the second line here, so we say these points are all at 40 meter, and this line is 60 meter. Okay, so these are called contour lines, 等高線, and all these contour lines will tell you the relief of the land. So what can you find for this contour map? you can see that this is a mountain. Is that right? Something like this. This is a mountain. So this is the top of the mountain, and then this is a hill, something like that. And then it tells you the relief of the land. And then some terms that you need to know. For example, we say vertical interval, 垂直距離 interval 呢個係 this is interval, okay? 垂直距離. Now, what is vertical interval? So it means the difference in height between two consecutive contour lines. Consecutive 就係連續嘅等高線. So we say the difference, that means here, you can look at this. This is 20 meter high, right? And this line is 40 meter. And then what is the difference here? The difference is 40 minus 20. So is the vertical interval, it should be 20 meter. Is that right? And then you can see that 40 and then is 60 here. So the difference between this line to this line also 20. So we say that the vertical interval here is 20 meter. So it refers to the difference in height between these two consecutive contour lines. Alright, understand? Okay, so maybe I just let you look at page 14, your textbook. So you can look at this map here. Now this is the contour map we have. And now you can see that there are some contour lines here. We have 0, we have 20 meter, 40 meter, 60 meter. These all are contour lines. And then what do you think the vertical interval, 垂直間距? So can you tell me what's your answer? So you can see that it's 40, right? And then it's 20. So what is the difference between these two? So you try to minus it. Okay, so you say 40 minus 20, right? So we get 20. So that's why the vertical interval is equal to 20 meter. Now, why we need this vertical interval? Because sometimes on your map, this figure will not show it to you, will not show it. Maybe you just try to figure it out by yourself. For example, I just draw this line without this number, but you still know it is 60. Why? Because you can just find out the vertical interval, and then you just try to add up 40 plus 20, then you will get 60. So you can know that this is 60 for this line. Alright? That means sometimes every line will not show the figure to you, but sometimes you can just find it out as long as you know the vertical interval. Okay? Now, and then the third thing, the third method to show relief is the conventional size. So in your Form 1, you have learned it before. So this size will show on the map, and then two things will show the exact height for a mountain, for example. So we have two methods here. So we have trigonometric station, 三角網測站. So it's showing the top of the mountain, okay? The height of the top of the mountain. And also the second thing is spot height, 高程點. Also, it's showing you the highest point of a place. Now again, you can just look at page 14 on your textbook. Here, this one. Now you can find that this one, this sign, this conventional sign belongs to a trigonometric station. Is that right? So this point refers to the top of the mountain. So it is about 84 meters. So you can see the number beside here, 84 meters. And then the other one here, you can see that this sign, just like a dot here. And then this is spot height. It refers another point. So the height here refers to 75 meters. Okay? So these two are the conventional size, showing you the exact height of a place. Now we are going to talk about map reading now. So here, first of all, we have to learn about cross section, 橫切面. Actually, do you know the definition of cross section? So what is cross section? I think I'm going to show you a demonstration to explain what is cross section. Now, suppose here I just make an apple here, right? So this is an apple. And now, what do you think? If I cut the apple from the top here, okay, vertically, then I will get the cross section of the apple. So what do you think the shape of the cross section of this apple? So let me try this here, okay? So I just cut it down here. It's very hard. Okay, here we go. So this is the, here you can see this. This is the cross section of an apple. Alright? Oh, it looks so delicious. Do you want to eat it? Okay, so here. Now, what we have here, you can see that the apple, right? The cross section of the apple is just like this, just like a heart here, right? And then, now, what do you think this? This is the cup. Can you tell me what is the shape of this cross section? So again, I use a line, for example, I just cut it from the top vertically. So what is the cross section here? What does it look like? So I think you can just get the shape just like this. It's right, just like something like this, okay? A rectangle, right? So this is the cross section. Now we are going to ask another question. So, how can we draw a cross section from a contour map? So, now we have to learn about this. Now, first of all, let's look at this one. Now, this is the contour map here, right? So you can see that there are some contour lines. So it's 0, and then this is 20-meter high. This line refers to 30-meter high, and then this is the top, the highest point. Maybe we say this is 35 meter. All right, let's say 35. And then now, what do you think about this shape of the land here? So I think this is a mountain, is that right? So you can see that the line is coming up, increasing 0, 20, 30, and then up to the top. So this is a mountain, something like this. All right. And now I want you to draw a cross section from A to B to find the cross section of AB on this contour map. So what we need to do is we have to draw a line first. Okay, so this is a line AB. Now suppose you have to cut it at the top vertically from the top here. You cut it here just like this, and then what will it look like? I mean the shape of the land. So I want to draw it. Okay, so this is the cross section of this mountain. Now I'm going to show you how to draw this. Okay, so here you have to draw this first, this one. And now AB, so you use a piece of paper to measure it. Okay, so this is A point here, and then this is B point. Okay, so here you have a line here, A and B. Alright, and now you need to show the point. The point you can see at the contour lines here. So this is A point here, this second point, you mark it down, this point, and also you can say this is the top of the hill, and another line, another point, this point, and B point. And then you have to write down the height of each point. For example, this line A, so it is 0, right? So it's 0. And then the second point here is 20, so you say 20. And this point is 30. And here the top is 35, and here again is 30. And this is 20, and here 0. Okay, so you just make it just like this. Alright, now you need to draw the scale here. Now this show you the scale, this one. Now what do you call this? This is called horizontal scale, 水平比例. So this is horizontal scale showing this contour map. Alright? And then you can change. I want to try to change into, I just want to find 1 cm. I want to change it, for example, here 1000 cm, and then 1 cm to, I change to m. Now how many m here? So remember we have learned this before in Form 1. So we just try to change. It's divided by 100, is right? Because 1 m equal to 100 cm, right? So we have 10 m here. Now that means, now for this scale, means that we have 1 cm on the map. It means 10 meter on the ground. Alright, so this is the horizontal scale here. And now I want you to make this scale. Now this is the vertical scale, 垂直比例. Now for this vertical scale, so I think I just use the same one. Now normally we will use the same as the horizontal scale, but sometimes we don't have the same one. Maybe sometimes we will make the scale larger and larger scale sometime, but normally we'll use the same as the horizontal scale. And now we just use the 1 cm to 10 m, same as this one. Okay, so we say you use a ruler to measure it. Just make it 1 cm for each, so you can see. So this is 1 cm, 1 cm, 1 cm, 1 cm, okay? And then here, now for each cm refer to 10 m. So what does it mean here? So we say this is 0, right? And then this is 10, this is 20, 30, and then 40. And then remember, write down the unit m here. And now you can just plot out the point here. So here you plot out the point. So A is 0, so you make the point here, this 0 here. And then here is 20, so you make it 20 here. And it's 30, so you make the line up here 30. It's 35, so just like this, around this point. And then 30 again, so here is 30. And this 20 is around, so you just make it just like this. It's 20, right? So here, around this way. And then it's 0 here. Okay, so you just join the point with a straight line. Just freehand, don't use ruler. Make a curve. So you just draw like this. Alright? And then here, this is the cross section of AB. Now, we are going to use another example to show you how to draw a cross section. This is more complicated. Now here is your contour map here. Now, now I want you to draw A, B, okay? Use a ruler to draw a straight line. Now I want you to draw a cross section. Now what do you think the cross section, the shape of the cross section here? So this is a hill, right? A mountain. So I think you can just have a guess. So this is a mountain, something like this. And then up here, this is another hill. So you're going up 120. So maybe just write this, okay? Something like this. So this is the cross section. Now, how can you actually just use the right method to show the cross section? Now here again, you use a piece of paper. Okay. You mark down A and B here. And also you plot out the point. So each contour lines, every line you make a point here. And then you try to design each point. So what is the height of each one? Here you can look at A first. Now for A here, this point here, what do you think the height? Now actually for here you can just draw by yourself. You can complete your diagram just like this. Actually this line just have been cut. It haven't shown it to you, but you can just draw it by yourself. So here, the point here, right? A. So this is another line here, A here, another line. So A, it should be between 100 and 200. Is that right? So we say A, 100 to 200. In between. A is in between these two contour lines. Alright? And then this point here refer to 200. So 200 here and 300. This point 300 again. Now make sure that you have to also think of this space. Now what do you think this space? This is a mountain top. Now what is the height of this? Actually, this so here should be higher than 300 or lower than 300. What do you think? So I think it must be higher than 300, right? So we say maybe I just write down, just use a sign to indicate that it's higher than 300. But it should be lower than 400 meter. Do you know why? In case if it is higher than 400, there should be a line showing 400 contour line here, but we don't have a line showing 400 here. So that's why we say this space must be over 300, but under 400 meter. Alright? So this is the sign that we are going to tell you that is higher than 300. And now this point, so is 200 here. Is 100. And here also 100 here. Now again, same number. This is same number. We have to decide the space in between. So what do you think the space here? What do you think the height? Now it should be a value. So it's a mountain, it's a value, and that is another hill here. So it should be, what do you think? Is it higher than 100 or below 100? So it's a value, it should be lower than 100. So maybe use a sign here, it's less than 100, maybe around 0 to 100, okay? And here 100, and then this is 200. And here B. Now what do you think B here? Now again you can just draw another line here. Now B is the highest point at the mountain here. Is 200, and then B should be over 200. Is that right? This is the highest point. So B here should be over 200, but it must be below 300. Do you know why? Because if it is higher than 300, there must be a line showing 300 here, but there's no line saying 300 here. So that's why we say the point B, it should be over 200 but under 300. So here we say it should be 200 to 300 for B, for point B, under 300. Alright, so here, now, let's plot the points here. Now, before we plot out the point, we have to make out the vertical scale for this one. Now, we are using the horizontal scale. This is the horizontal scale. We try to use the same one for the vertical scale. But sometimes I will ask you, don't use this scale. I will give you another scale, vertical scale. Then you have to follow my instruction. Okay. Now here, we'll try to use this. So we just try to change this 1 cm to something like this. You add a unit here, and then you change to m. So how many m here? It divided by 100. So it's 100 meter. So this is called horizontal scale, alright? 水平距離. That means on the map here, we are using this scale. And then how about vertical scale? 垂直比例. So here, this is the vertical scale. And now, here is 0. And now, for this, we try to use every 1 cm because you start with 1 cm, okay? So, here, you get 1 cm, 1 cm, each one is 1 cm. And then, here is 1 cm is 100, so you say 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Remember to write down the unit. It must be meter all the time. Okay, so now let's plot out the point here. So A is 100 to 200. So 100 and 200. So maybe in between here. And then 200. This is 200. And here is 300. So 300 is here. Here is 300. And here is 200. 100. And here is 100. Here is 200 here. Okay, 200 and 300. So it's in between. So something like that here. Now I try to just use a curve to join the points. So use free hand again. Don't use ruler. And then join the point here. This one. This one. But now, make sure that now this is the top of the mountain. So it's 300, 300, and then this space is over 300. So you just draw it this way, okay? It should be below 400, between 300 and 400. And this one is below 100 here. Something like this. Don't draw up to 0 because there's no line showing 0 here, okay? So you just say it's in between 0 and 100 here for the value. And here, so we just finished the cross section. So you just shape it, and then this is the cross section of AB. And then now one more thing I want to tell you. So how about if I add one more thing here? Now, for example, the contour map here, this is showing you a river. This is a river. Okay. Now, I want you to show the river on this cross section. Where is the river? So how can I show it? So again, you use this one here, and then you mark it down. This is the pond river. And then you try to mark it down here. So the river, right? And then so that means where is the river? And then you just try to mark it down. So the river is here. And now whenever when the map had this labeling of some feature, then this is called a name. So annotate the cross section, okay? 注釋橫切面. Whenever we have some labeling, okay, for example, the river here or some road here showing on the map, then this is called this kind of cross section. All right. Now, assignment for you to do. The first thing you need to do is you do your notes, okay? 5.2. First of all, you need to do your relief of Hong Kong. Same as the mind map that I have shown you before, something like this, okay? Or you can just make your own mind map. And then also you need to do the worksheet for the course session. This worksheet, you can find it in your email. Okay, so I will send the worksheet to you through the email. You just find in your e-class. And then you just do it and then you stick onto your notebook. So this is the first thing to do. And then the second thing is you need to send the soft copy or the worksheet for the course session. So just now this one you just do it on your worksheet and then you take a photo, make a soft copy, and then you need to send this soft copy to my Gmail. So I would like you to send it to me or maybe on February 20 or before this date. So that's all for our lesson today. Thank you very much.